Welcome to Echoes of Love. Tonight, we're diving into a tale of passion, betrayal, and the thirst for revenge that will leave you questioning everything. But be warned, once you step into this world, there's no turning back. If you're hooked, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story of love and vengeance. And if you have your own, share it in the comments. We might just turn your real-life tale into a video, with your name featured. Let's dive in. On my 72nd birthday, I discovered the cruelest truth of my life. The man I had given my youth, my body, my dreams, even my last breath to, never loved me. I found out by accident. I was arranging some old boxes, trying to keep my wrinkled hands busy, when a photograph slipped out. It wasn't mine. It wasn't ours. It was Lisa, smiling, glowing, frozen in her 20s. My husband Michael had kept her picture hidden all these decades, tucked inside his wallet, closer to his heart than he had ever kept me. The glass of our wedding frame shattered when I dropped it, and in that sound I heard my life break all over again. I wanted to scream, but there was no one to hear. Lisa had been gone for years. My children were busy with their own lives. And Michael? He was sitting in the living room, watching television, yawning as if nothing had ever mattered. My chest ached, not from age but from the realization. All those years I thought I was in love because I wasn't enough. But no, it was because his love had always belonged to someone else. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling until my body felt heavy. My breath grew shallow, and I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll die tonight with this bitterness carved into my bones. I closed my eyes, waiting for the darkness to swallow me. But when I opened them again, the world was no longer the same. I was standing in my bedroom, but it wasn't my bedroom. The mirror in front of me didn't show a wrinkled old woman. It showed me Emily, 20 years old, with soft skin, trembling lips, and eyes wide with shock. I touched my face, my arms, my hair. It was all real. I wasn't dreaming. Somehow, I had gone back. The year was 1970. The beginning of everything. The beginning of my tragedy. The air tasted of possibility, but inside me burned a storm. I remembered every betrayal, every tear, every lonely night of my past life. And in that moment, I swore this time, I would not make the same mistake. Michael would never own me. Lisa would never laugh at me behind my back. I would rewrite my story, even if it meant burning everything down. The very next morning, Michael arrived at my family's farm. His smile was dazzling, the same one that had charmed me once upon a time. But now, instead of butterflies, I felt nothing but ice. He asked how I was, spoke of a future, hinted at his grand dreams. My heart didn't skip, it hardened. I smiled back politely, but inside I whispered, "You won't ruin me again." Still, I had to play carefully. If I rejected him outright, people would question me. My family adored him. He had charm, ambition, a way of winning hearts. They couldn't see the monster he would become, but I could. So I pretended to be the shy, uncertain girl they remembered, while inside I sharpened my resolve like a blade. I kept track of Lisa too. She was sweet, innocent, unaware of the role she would play in my downfall. In my past life, I pitied her. In this life, I pitied neither her nor myself. She would choose her path, and I would choose mine, but I would not allow her shadow to erase me again. Days turned into weeks, and my plan began to take shape. Instead of following Michael's lead, I sought independence. I started sketching designs late at night, secretly meeting Rachel, my childhood friend, to talk about fabric and colors. I didn't know how far this dream would take me, but I knew one thing: I would never allow myself to be financially or emotionally chained to a man again. But Michael wasn't blind. He noticed my distance. One evening, as we walked back from town, he leaned close and said, "You've changed, Emily. You're colder, distracted. Is there someone else?" His voice dripped with suspicion. In my past life, his accusations had cut me. This time, they only fueled me. I looked him straight in the eye and replied, "Maybe I'm finally seeing clearly." He didn't like that answer. His jaw clenched. I could see the anger behind his charming mask. That was the first crack. In my other life, it had taken years for his cruelty to show. Now it was surfacing early. I felt almost triumphant, but I hid it behind silence. Lisa appeared at gatherings, laughing, radiant, catching Michael's gaze more than once. In my old life, I had ignored it, too scared of the truth. This time, I studied every glance, every whisper. The betrayal was already budding, just waiting for its chance to bloom. And I would let it. I wouldn't stop them. I would make them believe they had won until the moment I turned the blade back on them. Daniel entered my story again, as if fate refused to forget him. He was Michael's colleague, quiet, observant, kind in ways Michael could never be. I remembered him from before, the man I had never truly allowed myself to know. This time, when our eyes met, something shifted. Not love, not yet, but a possibility. A warmth I had been denied all my life, but I pushed it down. Revenge burned brighter than affection. My heart was too raw, too filled with scars. Still, when Daniel asked me one evening, "Are you happy, Emily?" I couldn't lie. I whispered, "Not yet," and in his eyes, I saw the promise that one day I could be. Every night I wrote in a hidden journal, marking each step: Michael's suspicion, Lisa's presence, Daniel's kindness, my own growth. I recorded them like pieces on a chessboard, each waiting to be moved. I wasn't the naive farm girl anymore. I was the woman who had lived and died once already. I carried decades of pain and wisdom, and I would wield them like weapons. The time of betrayal was near. I could sense it in Michael's sharp words, in the way he snapped when I didn't obey, in the glances he shared with Lisa when they thought no one saw. In my past life, I had been blind until it was too late. This time, I watched with clear eyes, and I smiled, because every step he took toward betrayal was a step into the trap I was weaving. And so, on the night of the Harvest Festival, when lanterns lit the sky and music filled the air, I prepared myself. Michael would make his move. Lisa would be at his side, and I would be waiting. The Harvest Festival was supposed to be a night of joy, but my heart thudded like a drum of war. The square was alive with music, laughter, children running with candied fruits, lanterns floating into the sky like glowing promises. Yet in that beauty, I saw the ugliness of truth. Michael's eyes weren't on me. They hadn't been for a long time. He scanned the crowd like a predator searching for prey. And then he found her, Lisa. I caught the flicker in his gaze, the way his lips curled almost imperceptibly, a smile he never gave me. Lisa blushed, lowered her eyes, then raised them again with a shy defiance that told me she enjoyed the attention. My stomach clenched, but not from heartbreak, from anticipation. This was at the beginning of the betrayal I had once been too blind to confront. Tonight I wouldn't stop it. Tonight I would memorize it. He excused himself, pretending to fetch me a drink. I let him go. From the corner of my eye, I followed his steps. He slipped through the crowd, his path as certain as if he had walked it 1,000 times before. He disappeared behind the rows of tents, where shadows swallowed him. Lisa followed minutes later, adjusting her hair, pretending to laugh with her friends before she drifted away. I waited, counting the seconds, steadying my breath. Then I followed. The laughter and music dulled as I reached the edge of the festival, the shadows growing deeper. And there they were. Michael pressed close to her, whispering in her ear, his hand brushing her arm. She giggled, soft and nervous, but she didn't push him away. He leaned closer. She tilted her face. And in that stolen moment, I saw the truth unfold, the same truth that had haunted me for 72 years. But this time I wasn't powerless. I didn't cry. I didn't collapse. I didn't beg. I memorized every detail, the tilt of his head, the gleam in her eyes, the exact words he whispered. "You're the one I should have married." I wanted to laugh. He hadn't even changed his lines. The same poison, the same betrayal, as if history was too lazy to invent a new script. I stepped back into the light of the festival before they could notice me, my face composed, my smile ready. When Michael returned minutes later with a cup of cider, pretending he had been gone only for me, I accepted it with a calm nod. I looked him straight in the eye and said softly, "You're right. This festival is unforgettable." He flinched, just slightly, and for a moment I thought he sensed that I knew. But his arrogance won. He smiled, confident in his deception. That night, lying in my bed, I wrote in my journal, "The game has begun." In my past life, I had wasted years hoping for scraps of love. Now I collected evidence like a hunter gathering weapons. Every secret glance, every excuse, every lie, I cataloged them. And slowly, Michael grew careless. The more he believed in my silence, the bolder he became. Lisa tried to hide her guilt, but her laughter gave her away. She lingered near him too often, blushed too quickly when he spoke. My family noticed nothing, blinded by Michael's charm. But Daniel noticed. One evening, as I folded fabric in my small workshop, Daniel appeared in the doorway. "Emily," he said gently, "you deserve better." My hands stilled, my throat tightened. He had seen them too. The sympathy in his eyes nearly broke my composure, but I couldn't afford to break. I forced a smile. "Don't worry about me." But his gaze lingered, heavy with unspoken words. And though I wasn't ready to let him in, his quiet presence became a comfort, a reminder that not all men carried daggers behind their smiles. Michael's betrayal escalated quickly. He invented errands, stayed out late, claimed business meetings that smelled of perfume instead of ink. I let him. I didn't confront, not yet. Instead, I built. My clothing designs, once just sketches, began to take form. Rachel and I worked tirelessly, sewing late into the night, turning fabric into dresses that drew attention at the marketplace. With every coin I earned, with every garment admired, I laid another brick in the fortress of my independence. But revenge is never satisfying without risk. I wanted him to feel safe before I tore the ground from beneath him. So I played the dutiful partner, smiling at dinners, walking at his side, listening to his empty words. And the more obedient I appeared, the deeper he sank into his own arrogance. Then came the night of my point of no return. Michael returned home late, smelling of alcohol and something floral. He staggered slightly as he removed his coat. I asked sweetly, "Did you have a long meeting?" He nodded absently, too distracted to notice the cold edge in my voice. As he turned, something slipped from his pocket, a folded note, Lisa's handwriting. My heart clenched, but not from pain, from triumph. I picked it up before he could notice, slipping it into my apron. Later, in my room, I unfolded it. "I can't keep meeting like this. People will notice. But when I'm with you, I feel alive. Yours, Lisa." The words seared into me like fire, but instead of burning me, they forged me. Proof. Irrefutable. My revenge was no longer a plan. It was inevitable. I didn't sleep that night. I sat by the window, the note clutched in my hand, the stars watching silently as I whispered my vow. "You destroyed me once. This time, I will destroy you." And yet, beneath the rage, another feeling stirred fear. Not of Michael, not of Lisa, but of myself. Could I really go through with it? Could I truly orchestrate a revenge so precise, so final, that it would erase the scars of my last life? My hands trembled, not from doubt of him, but from the enormity of my own power. By dawn, my answer was clear. I could. I would. Over the following weeks, I began weaving my trap. I invested more time into my boutique, knowing success would slice Michael's pride deeper than any blade. I confided in Rachel just enough for her to believe I needed help, but not enough for her to suspect the storm brewing inside me. And I watched Michael's downfall approach, step by step, like thunder rolling closer across the fields. Lisa wavered. I saw the guilt in her eyes, the way she avoided my gaze, the nervous laughter that bubbled when I joined their conversations unexpectedly. In another life, I might have pitied her, might have blamed her less than him, but not this time. This time, pity was a luxury I couldn't afford. The day came when I confronted my reflection in the mirror, the same young face that had once been so fragile. I whispered to it, "You are not that girl anymore. You are the woman who survived 72 years of betrayal. You are the storm he cannot see coming." And for the first time, I believed it. The confrontation was near. Michael and Lisa believed they were safe, hidden in shadows. But I had already dragged their secret into the light. I held their fate in my hands. And soon, I would close my fist. The morning I decided to strike, the sky was mercilessly bright. It mocked me with its beauty, as if daring me to destroy the illusion of peace around us. Michael still believed he held the reins of my life. He had no idea the ground beneath him was already splitting. I didn't confront him immediately. No, that would have been too easy, too merciful. Instead, I let him walk deeper into the labyrinth I had built. I expanded my boutique faster than anyone thought possible. Word spread of the young woman with fresh designs and daring colors. Customers came from nearby towns. Money flowed in steady streams. I could see the irritation tighten Michael's jaw each time someone praised me in front of him. He was supposed to be the successful one. I was supposed to be his shadow. Instead, I was becoming the sun, and he just a fading silhouette. Lisa tried to hide her unease. She avoided me now, as if my eyes could pierce through her soul. And they could. Every time she blushed when Michael was near, every time she stumbled over excuses, I let her see my smile, a smile sharp enough to draw blood. She didn't know why it unsettled her. She only knew she couldn't meet it. Then, fate gave me the perfect weapon. Rachel mentioned casually that Michael had asked her brother for a loan. He hadn't told me, of course. His business wasn't thriving as he pretended. He was bleeding money, and Lisa wasn't just his affair, she was his fantasy of escape. He wanted to run with her, rebuild his pride somewhere else. That knowledge didn't break me, it completed me. I decided the confrontation would happen in public, where masks cannot survive. The town's spring gala approached, an evening of dancing, speeches, and pride. Everyone would be there, and so would they. I wore a dress of my own making, a crimson silk that caught every eye and whispered power with every step. Rachel gasped when she saw me. "Emily, you look like someone reborn." I smiled. "I am." Michael arrived late, Lisa trailing behind him, her face pale. I watched as people greeted him with polite nods, no longer the adoration he once commanded. His eyes darted toward me, and for the first time, I saw something flicker there, not confidence, not charm, but unease. During the dinner, I waited. I let him speak of his plans, his false achievements, his hollow future. Then, as the crowd lifted their glasses, I rose. My voice carried clear and steady. "I'd like to share something tonight." The room stilled. Michael's eyes narrowed. I held up the folded letter, Lisa's words written in desperate ink. My voice didn't shake. "Some secrets are too heavy to keep, and some betrayals deserve the light." Gasps rippled as I read Lisa's note aloud. Every word struck like a blade, each syllable stripping Michael of his facade. His face drained of color, his charm shattered in an instant. Lisa buried her face in her hands, unable to stop the storm. Michael leapt up, fury twisting his features. "Emily, how dare you?" I cut him off, my voice sharper than his roar. "How dare you? You used my youth, my devotion, my life, while keeping her picture in your heart. You thought I was weak. You thought I would die silently. But I lived again, Michael. And this time, I chose myself." The silence that followed was louder than thunder. Eyes turned from me to him, judgment heavy in every stare. His reputation, his pride, his lies all crumbled in a single breath. He stormed out, Lisa stumbling after him, their whispers of disgrace chasing them into the night. I stood still, heart pounding, but not with fear, with freedom. But revenge is never just public. It is personal. The next morning, Michael came to my door, rage burning through him. "You humiliated me. You'll regret this, Emily." He raised his hand as if to strike. In my past life, that gesture had terrified me. This time, I didn't flinch. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Try it, and watch the world believe me, not you." His hand froze midair. For the first time, I saw him hesitate. Power had shifted. He knew it. I knew it. He lowered his hand, spat at the ground, and left. That was the last time he entered my home. But his downfall wasn't over. His debts grew. His business collapsed. Whispers of his betrayal spread. Lisa abandoned him when the illusion of his strength faded. And soon, Michael was nothing more than a bitter man standing outside the life he thought he controlled. I meanwhile flourished. My boutique became the pride of the town, Rachel my loyal partner. Customers traveled miles for my designs. My name, once tied to his shadow, now stood alone, strong, untouchable. And Daniel, he stayed, quiet, steadfast, never demanding, simply present. He didn't offer grand promises. He offered something rare, understanding. One evening, as I closed the shop, he waited outside. "You don't have to be alone, Emily," he said softly. My heart trembled, not with fear, but with a warmth I hadn't felt in either lifetime. I didn't answer right away. I only took his hand, small and tentative, as if testing its weight. It was steady, real, and for the first time, I allowed myself to imagine a future not built on betrayal, but on choice. My choice. Years later, when people spoke of Michael, they shook their heads, pitying the man who had lost everything. When they spoke of me, they spoke of resilience, of strength, of a woman who turned ashes into fire. And when I looked into the mirror, I no longer saw the wrinkled ghost of my past life, nor the trembling girl of my youth. I saw a woman reborn, not because she was loved, but because she learned to love herself first. Justice wasn't the moment he fell. Justice was the moment I rose.